Hello everyone, good afternoon, please and all good. So our learning facilitator, Dr. Junichi Bilatori, good afternoon, Doc. I hope all of you are safe now. And I would like to congratulate all the previous reporters for a job well done. I am Marian D, your reporter for today, and now you will be able to know the Herzberg's two factors theory, which I will discuss to you now. So Herzberg's two-factor theory is also known as the dual structure theory. So this theory is basically a motivational theory which ensure employees to work harder in an organization or in a company. So since this is a motivational theory, let us first define what is motivation. So as we all know, motivation is one of the most important factors in affecting human behavior and performances. So the performance of an individual in an organization is directly related to their level of motivation. So the level of motivation that an individual or team exerted in their work task can affect all aspects of organization performance. Why? Because if an employee is unmotivated, he or she will not do his or her job. That also can affect the organization. So moving on to our topic for today, let me first introduce to you who is Frederick Herzberg. So Frederick Irving Herzberg was born on April 18, 1923 and died on January 19, 2000 in Massachusetts. He was an American psychologist who also became the professor of management at the University of Utah. He is one of the most influential names in business management for introducing job enrichment and the motivator hygiene theory that we will be going to discuss today. So Herzberg's two-factor theory was designed in the year 1959, and according to Robbins 2009, Herzberg defined two sets of factors in deciding employees' working attitudes and level of performance. And what are the bases of the Herzberg's two-factor theory? So first we have the theory believes in engaging with members of your team in such a way that they give their very best performance. Or this theory believes in the engagement of all employees in an organization in such a way that the company will be satisfied with the performance of the individual that they get out of them. So how did Herzberg came up with that theory? So the second one, Herzberg came up with a theory by asking people to describe situations where they felt really good or really bad about their jobs. Herzberg interviewed 203 American accountants and engineers in Pittsburgh regarding their personal feelings toward their working environment. So the subjects were asked to relate times when they felt exceptionally good or bad about their present job or any previous job that they had, and to provide reasons and description of the sequence of events giving rise to that positive or negative feeling. And lastly, the basis of Herzberg's theory is that money is not the only driver to good performance. It is not only the salary that can motivate employee, but there is also other aspects. And those are the basis of Herzberg's two-factor theory. And now here are the two factors of Herzberg's theory. We have first the motivational factors, and the second one is the hygiene factors. So what is motivational factors? So these factors causes employees to work harder. They are found within the actual job itself, which also gives positive satisfaction of employee, arising from intrinsic conditions of the job itself. So motivational factors includes the following. First, we have the achievement. A job must give an employee a sense of achievement. This will provide a proud feeling of having done something difficult but worthwhile. Therefore, there must be an outcome of some sort in the job. Another one is recognition. So the employees should be recognized and praised for their accomplishments. This recognition should come from both their superiors and their peers. Next, we have the work itself. The job itself must be meaningful, interesting, varied, and provide enough of a challenge to keep employees motivated to work hard. Next, we have the responsibility. So employees should own their work. They should hold themselves responsible for the completion of a particular job and not feeling as though they are being micromanaged. The employee is motivated in his or her own job responsibility. No need to remind him or her. So by means, the manager should give employee ownership of work. However, managers should minimize control but retain accountability. Another one is the promotion. Advancement opportunities should exist for the employee for them to be motivated and perform well in their job. And lastly, the growth. The job should give employees the opportunity to learn new skills. This can happen either on the job or through more formal trainings. The organization can give seminars to all employees for them to acquire new skills. So to apply this in a real-life situation, we can use an example of leading a team. Take a little time with each of the members to check that they are happy and being fairly and respectfully treated. In other words, a leader can encourage his or her team member by providing them development opportunities, promoting great achievement, and of course, celebrating their success in work. And now let's move on to the second factor of two factors theory of Herzberg. We have the hygiene factors. So what is the hygiene factors? So these factors won't encourage employees to work harder, but they will cause them to become unmotivated if they are not present. These factors basically is more on extrinsic motivation. These hygiene factors, if present in an organization, this is not enough source of extreme satisfaction, since more on extrinsic motivation man lang sila. But, if not present in an organization, it could be a source of extreme dissatisfaction. Ang empleyado is dili motivated since ang extrinsic motivation is not present in their company or in their organization. And some extrinsic factors, or what we call the hygiene factors, includes the following. We have first, the company policy. So the company policy should be fair and clear to every employee. They must also be equivalent to those of competitors in the same industry. So dapat ang company policy is transparency so that all employees will be motivated to work because they know the company policy. Then next we have the pay and salary. Of course, the pay is or the salary is an extrinsic motivation. So the pay structure should be fair and reasonable. It should also be competitive with other organizations in the same industry. So ang company, of course, must follow the rate of their place or their province, and the owner also must consider the qualifications or the standard of an employee in computing the salary. So in other words, if ang salary sa empleyado is sakto, motivated siya nga mo-work sa iyahang job, but not to the extent na satisfied na siya or intrinsically motivated na siya, since hygiene factors are really not enough to have an extreme satisfaction ang usa ka employee. Another factor is relationship to co-workers. There should be no tolerance for bullying or disrespect. A healthy, amiable, and appropriate relationship should exist between peers, superiors, and subordinates. Why? Because if the worker feels that he or she is not treated well, that would end up to worse situation. Maybe ma-resign siya and maybe dili siya ganahan magtrabaho sa iyang responsibilities. That is why relationship in an organization is very important. Next, we have the physical work environment. So this includes the equipment and working environment of an employee. All of these must be safe, including the facilities. It should be in excellent condition. Another one is the job security. It is important that employees feel that their job is secure and they are not under the constant threat of being laid off. An example is the permanent position rather than contractual employee. And lastly, we have the compensation. It should be present in an organization, just like the bonuses and incentives, as well as the salary increment. So if these hygiene factors is not present in an organization, this would result to extreme dissatisfaction of employee. Then, to apply this hygiene theory in real world situation, we can use some company as an example. They applied hygiene factors as a way to motivate workers or their employees. The organization or the company include or involve their employees in decision making. This makes the employee feel the sense of belonging towards the company. And every year, they also have the chance to discuss their salary increment. This is the kind of reward that will be given to the employees in recognition to their work. So in short, poor hygiene factors decreases employee job satisfaction and motivational factors increases employee job satisfaction. So there are four stats of this Herzberg two-factor theory. First is the high hygiene and high motivation. So this is the ideal situation and the one which every manager should strive for. So in here, all employees are motivated and have a very few grievances. Second one, we have the high hygiene and low motivation. In this situation, employees have few grievances, but they are not highly motivated. An example of this situation is where pay pay and working conditions are competitive, but the work is not very interesting. Employees are simply there to collect their salary. Next, we have the low hygiene and high motivation. So in here, employees are highly motivated, but they have a lot of grievances. A typical example of this situation is where the work is exciting and really interesting, but the pay and condition are behind competitors in the same industry. And the last one is the low hygiene and low motivation. This is obviously a bad situation for an organization or team to find itself in, because in here, employees are not motivated and the hygiene factors are not there to motivate them. Thus, correcting hygiene matters will improve the working environment and keeping them happy as well. Because of these two factors, the motivational factor and the hygiene factor theory, both the business and the workers are likely to benefit. This will make the workers contented and motivated. So motivated workers will allow an increase of the company's productivity. So lastly, the factors that motivate people to work harder are those motivational factors. And the essential factors that demotivate people when not present are those hygiene factors. So, when motivational factors added by the hygiene factors is present, so this will result to a successful company and a successful organization. So thank you. If you have any questions about the topic, please feel free to ask in our Google Classroom. And also, if you have additional information about the motivation of the Herzberg's two-factor theory, you can also share it to our Google Classroom. Thank you, God bless, and stay safe.